YouTube, it's Becky from Becky Writes. This is Becky Reads, and this is the Animal Book Tag. The Animal Book Tag was originally started by Miranda Reads, and I will link the questions and her video down below. Question number 1, an animal that only comes up for air is the whale. What is a book that you only put down if you had to? That book for me was Winter by Marissa Mayer. This is the final book in the Lunar Chronicles, and I absolutely loved it. I read this for the Spring Dewey's Readathon, and just for 24 hours only read this book. I absolutely could not put it down. It was gripping, there was so much going on, and I inhale read this, for real. Question number 2, Beautiful but Scary, The Lion. What is a book that intimidated you at first? That book for me was Burial Rites by Hannah Kent. This was my most intimidating book on my intimidating book tag, and I just found the subject matter quite intimidating. It's not a long book, but this is the story of Agnes Magnusdóttir, who in the 1800s in Iceland committed a horrific crime. This is based on an actual true event, and I just was really intimidated about the subject of that, about the murders and about what this would do to my emotions. I ended up absolutely loving it. I mean, look at all of these tabs. This was a beautifully, beautifully written book, and I am so glad I got over my intimidation to pick up Burial Rites. Question number 3, The Goldfish, every child's favorite. What was your favorite book to read as a child, or your favorite children's book? I've mentioned this before, and I will mention it again. In lieu of the picture books that I was read to as a child, of which I have an extensive collection at my parents' house, the children's book that I have reread the most and that I still enjoy as an adult is Little Women by Louisa May Alcott, and this is my beloved, beloved edition. This is actually the 3rd or 4th copy of this book that I have owned in my life. I reread them often, I give them away, and I do tend to pick up used copies because I just think that they have more personality, but the stories of Meg and Jo and Amy and Beth are the stories that I love, and they remind me of being a little girl reading this on a spring day or snuggled up with a cup of tea in the winter, and I just continue to return to this piece of children's literature. Question number 4, I've got a big head and little arms, the T-Rex. What is a book that is really strong in some places and really weak in others? Now this one might be a little bit of an unpopular opinion because this book has gotten a lot of hype recently, but I'm gonna say Labyrinth Lost by Zoraida Cordova. Now I really wanted to love this, and I gave it a 3.5 stars when I read it, but honestly the more I think about it, the more I think it's more on a 3. This book has a lot going for it. The world building is incredible, the magic system is interesting, the Latinx culture that is interwoven for all of the major characters is great. I think that the main character is fascinating and her relationship with her family, all of that is fabulous, but this falls down in a lot of ways. The dialogue is painfully bad, the relationships between the sort of love triangle that's going on is just awkward and not good, and I think that this could have been so much better with a stronger editor. This book really screams for another thorough editing, so it falls down in so many little places that could have been an easy fix. So yeah, this is definitely a T-Rex book. Question number 5 is The Spider. Nope. What is a book that you plan on going nowhere near? That book for me is A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihara. I have no interest in reading about abuse, long-term effects of abuse, reading about abuse. I mean, Adam Duran called it torture porn, and I think that that's probably a great sign that it is not for me. Nope. Question number 6, The Animal That Repeats Others, The Mockingbird. What is your favorite retelling? Those of you who have been around my channel for a little while know that one of my favorite authors of all time is Robin McKinley, and therefore my favorite retelling of all time is Beauty by Robin McKinley. I believe this is her first book ever. She has written 2 Beauty and the Beast retellings, Beauty and Rose Daughter. I love both of them, but I remember picking up Beauty in the 2nd or 3rd grade, and I probably reread it like 4 or 5 times while I was in elementary school. I would go back and just reread it and reread it and reread it. I loved this book. It probably is a major reason why Beauty and the Beast is my favorite fairy tale. This is just such a whimsical fairy tale feeling retelling. There is a move currently to make fairy tale retellings less fairy tale feeling, to make them more in the real world, or to make them very sci-fi, or to make them gothic, or whatever the spin is, and that's great. But if you want a fairy tale that feels like a fairy tale, Beauty by Robin McKinley is where it's at. Question number 7, The Laughing Hyena. What is a book that kept you laughing throughout the pages? I have a couple different novels I could go with, but I'm gonna switch it up and go for a comic book series and say The Lumberjanes. This comic series is so fun. I always laugh when I pick it up. It is just this great quirky cast of characters. It's a bunch of young women at a summer camp for hardcore lady types, but the characters are vast. They're queer, they're straight, they're genderqueer, they're questioning, they are hilarious, they're fighting sort of mythical creatures, and it's just a great time every time. So if you are looking for something humorous, something all age appropriate, and that will definitely make you chuckle and smile in real life, I would totally recommend Lumberjanes. Question number 8, Momma Bear. What is a book with a kick-ass female lead character? I am gonna go with Sabriel by Garth Nix. This book is one of my favorite covers of all time. Like, look at that. That is an epic cover, but I also just love the character of Sabriel. She is someone who was not raised to be a kick-ass, she was raised to be a polite, coy lady, and then she's thrown into this crazy world where she has to fight the undead. Like, what? She's amazing, she's honest, I wish we had more books about her, I just think that she's fantastic, and if you have not yet read the Old Kingdom series, you really, really, really should. P.S. If you like audiobooks, Tim Curry reads this audiobook, so you're welcome. Question number 9, The Horrible Hateful Cat. What is a book that you just can't stand? Y'all know it's coming. Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man. I read this 3 times, and I've hated it every single time. Why even continue to own it? I don't know, but maybe it's just so I can always show it every time I have to talk about a book that I hate. Also, I don't hate cats, so I don't understand why this has to be linked to cats, but there you go. Question number 10 is Man's Best Friend the Dog. Name a book by someone that you know. I have a couple I could highlight for this, but the 2 I'm gonna mention are Until Beth by Lisa Amowitz, who I know through the interwebs and I'm so excited to have read. I recently did a spoiler-free book review of this, so if you're curious, I will link that down below so you can get my thoughts. And A Year and a Day by Sarah Harvey. I've known Sarah Harvey since I was in high school, which is kind of crazy. Thank you, LiveJournal. As you can see, look at that. Look at that. That's a long time. I thought it was a really sweet book. It's about 2 angels who have to spend a year and a day on Earth sorting their stuff out. Although the song came later, this book reminds me of the Ballad of Love and Hate by the Avett Brothers, and it's a really sweet book. That's it! That is the animal book tag. Now I get to tag others. As always, if you really want to do this tag and you haven't been tagged yet, bam! You are tagged. And I would love to tag anybody who has a pet. So if you're watching this and you have a pet, you are especially tagged. Comment down below and let me know if you would add an animal to this tag. I was trying to think of like an animal that I would want to see added to this tag, and I was thinking maybe like the zebra. It's not what you expect, and if there's a book that you read that you expected one thing and it was totally the other, I'm not sure which book I would pick for that either, but you know, that would be my addition to the animal book tag. I hope you guys are all doing well, and I will talk to you soon. Bye!